He's back, but you can decide how clear he's being. Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz basically dodging some key questions about the federal sex crimes probe, which includes possible sex with a minor and sex trafficking allegations. These are basically his first extended comments since that bombshell Daily Beast report, which we also reported on, about an alleged confession letter from Gaetz's indicted ally that accused Gaetz of having and paying for sex with a minor. Here is how Gaetz responds.
Tell us your version of events and what you've lived through in the last month.
Well, the things the media has said about me are lies, and the truth will prevail. There is a desire in big government, in big media, in big tech to target, deplatform, and destroy those who champion the America First cause.
Whatever you make of that broader criticism, it's very much the Trump playbook because Mr. Gaetz didn't actually give any version of the underlying events, just talk about the media. Now, this is also the first interview since what many viewed as a train wreck appearance on Fox News with Tucker Carlson, who himself said it was one of the weirdest interviews he's ever done. For context, we turn to New York Times legal writer Emily Bazelon. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
What did you think of that answer there and his attempt to come out and speak to a relatively friendly audience after that really bombshell set of accusations in the Beast?
I mean, I think we see Matt Gaetz here deciding not to just stay out of the limelight, not acting as strangely as he did on Tucker Carlson's show. So in that sense, doing a little cleanup. But as you said, not giving any specifics. And it's easy to accuse the media of lying without saying what they're lying about. He's just clearly decided that the best defense here is to go on offense.
And in the same interview, he was asked about legal action if these things being said about him are so false or potentially defamatory. He basically pivots. Take a look.
The outrageous allegations against you, sexual impropriety, underage and everything else, and then somebody trying to extort you and your family. Don't you have a very strong case against these people? Are you taking legal action, Matt Gaetz?
Yes, we are working to bring my extorters to justice.
Whatever the talk of extortion, everyone should understand the Daily Beast reports on the alleged confession letter, which was written by Joel Greenberg. NBC News didn't verify that letter. We've always mentioned that. But they do report that Greenberg wrote that Gaetz paid for sex with multiple women, as well as a girl who was 17 at the time. So when you look at that response there, again, you can't tell if Mr. Gorka is so bought into the theory that he wants to tee it up, or he's finding a friendly-sounding way of actually calling out the fact that Gaetz may not want to have a separate case on this if it's not strong, if people are not indeed lying about him.
Right. I mean, maybe there's a hint of skepticism on Gorka's part, because if you're going to make this big conspiracy charge about people in the Department of Justice and this tens of millions of dollars of extortion ring against your family, you would think you might have some evidence to back that up. If Gaetz doesn't have any evidence and doesn't move forward with some way of proving it, then it just looks like a giant distraction. I suppose we don't know the answer yet, just as we also don't know whether the allegations against Matt Gaetz are going to prove out. This is a story in which there's lots of throwing around of huge accusations, and it's very unresolved.
Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.